Eran and I are going to tell you all about our new brand, Haylo. Eran literally said, like, I am never going into jewelry.
I'm never going to jewelry. I'm not doing that.
I felt like the concept was so cute. The fact that you could just wear your kids on your neck.
Okay, how are we going to do this?
We had no designs, nothing. Like, literally started from zero.
Are we going to be a luxury brand, or are we going to be something that people have better access to?
Yeah, that was the biggest mistake. We launched this brand treating it like a luxury brand when that was never my intention. We hit live. Oh my God. One sale. Oh my God, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, we're really gonna do this. We're gonna tell you how much we put into this business.
Yeah, I think we've put.
Hey babes.
What's up?
It's Haley.
And Eran.
And welcome back to the Hey Babes podcast. Putting it out there right now, you guys. I have a little bit of a cold, so I do have a raspy voice. But you're gonna want to bear with me for this episode because Eran and I are gonna tell you all about our new brand, Haylo. And I'll tell you guys right now, we're gonna tell you all the nitty gritty, the ins and outs, and everything in between of how it came to be and how much it cost us and why we decided to do jewelry in the first place, right?
Yeah, a lot of questions. We got answers. Let's get into it.
Exactly. So earlier last week, Eran and I actually had our launch for Haylo Collections. And before we're even going to get into how it went, how it performed, let's tell you how it even started.
Yes.
So as you guys know, I've been a YouTuber for, I don't know, babe, how many years has it been at this point?
I think over 5.
I think 7 years.
Been doing YouTube when you got we were married.
Yeah, so almost 6 years at this point. And I'll tell you what, as much as I love it, I've never, ever had anything that was mine. Every time I did sponsorships, collaborations, it was always me promoting other brands and other companies. And I got questions all the time. And remember, people would always ask, like, come out with something.
When you start like your own clothing or merch or something like that.
And I don't know what it is. I just felt like everybody was coming out with like merch at the time. And I just told myself that I really wanted to create something, put not even my name to it, but create something under my name that was just unique, something that was different.
Yeah.
Not necessarily something that was like a Haley's Corner thing, but just like a Haley thing. And when Eran and I were kind of brainstorming, I mean, I think once we moved to Florida, we kind of told ourselves like we really need to narrow down and think about our future and something outside of just YouTube, because as much as I do love this job, like who knows how long YouTube is going to stick around for, right?
Yeah, I can picture you like being in her like 60s, like performing thrift trips,
doing thrift trips,
fashion
if only.
reels with like a cane.
Exactly. So Eran and I just needed to kind of like look at something that can be outside of our business, and we thought about so many different things. You guys know I'm a fashion channel, so we thought about possibly doing clothing, possibly doing baby clothes, like everything in that realm. But number one, I just felt like it would have been super complicated to deal with manufacturers and to deal with like the whole process of it all.
It's also harder because like you're known for like being sustainable and
exactly.
stuff like that.
There's so many requirements. Like I can't come out with anything that would be produced in a way that wasn't like 100% sustainable. I just felt like it would go against everything I represented.
Yeah.
You know, there was too many requirements and it was too difficult. And on top of that, you got to be like size inclusive. You got to make sure the material is good. Like there's so many different things you have to consider with
also
clothes.
just think you just didn't have a passion to like create clothing in that sense.
Yeah,
like,
I think so
you
too.
love fashion to like fashion and everything,
but I more
to come
love
with your
putting
own
things together rather than creating things.
Yeah, exactly.
So Eran and I kept brainstorming, and this is something that's really funny. In our culture, we have a lot of people who are Bukharian that are jewelers, and Eran, ever since he was young, I mean, he used to like intern for his dad, and he always used to say,
my dad's a jeweler, all my cousins work in jewelry, like everybody's like, that's what the business
Diamond
was.
District in New York is like all Bukharians. And like Eran literally said, like, I am never going into jewelry.
I'm never going to jewelry. I'm not doing that. So I specifically went to personal training, and I went to the fitness route and everything because it was my passion. But at the same time, I just didn't want to go into the jewelry business.
Exactly. And I think that over time, we've just kind of like started to realize like, I don't even remember you know how this came about? I actually remember. I posted a video, I want to say maybe almost 3 years ago on my YouTube channel, and it was a video that was my jewelry collection and showing all of my jewelry pieces because I used to get asked questions about that all the time. And I just realized, number one, I was very knowledgeable about jewelry, about different materials and different types of jewelry as well. And I loved sharing it, and I loved unique jewelry designs, especially me. I'm kind of like somebody who is obsessed with certain pieces, and I would wear ones forever because they had meaning to me. So something that I always used to wear was a little pendant that had an E on it, and it would represent Eran around my neck.
What's that? Oh, you know, that meant eat.
E. No.
Eran, not like food.
Eat. I do like food, but I like you a little bit more than that.
Okay, good to know.
So with that, I always used to wear it, and I just loved how much like meaning it always had because I'm just like really into those sentimental kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know? And over time, I got pregnant with Aaliyah, and I automatically knew once Aaliyah was born, I wanted to wear something to commemorate her. So I thought about getting a necklace, maybe also getting a little like dog tattoo with the A on it. But then I'm like, I felt like I wanted something different.
Like you feel like everybody has that. So you're
Exactly.
like, I wanted something just new and unique and fresh.
Different. So Eran and I, how did we even come about this? My sister, right?
I think so basically I think from what I understand, Irit went to where did she go to buy it? In Israel or something?
Yeah.
So she has like these, I guess for her son, she has 3 boys, and she has these like, I want to say they're pendants.
They're little figures.
They look like animated kids on your neck, and it was like really cheesy. It had like the hat had like these like fake diamonds on it.
Yeah.
And the gold was
and
like,
it was like an engraved
off.
it was like an engraved face and stuff, but I saw it and I remember everybody always complimented her on it. I felt like the concept was so cute. The fact that you could just wear your kids on your neck in a way. Like
I always loved, like, even when we were coming up with like the marketing of this, like I always loved the idea of like people saying like, oh, so how many kids do you have? And you're like, oh, I don't know, you tell me. And they're like, oh my god, that's so cute. Like that
Exactly.
it was a good way to like break the ice or give an answer, but like in a more unique way.
In a cute, unique way. So with that, I remember I told her, I was like, listen, I really love your necklace, but like, I just feel like we could do it so much better.
Yeah.
And plus, I feel like you don't really see it here so much.
Yeah.
It was a concept that you saw a lot in Brazil and Israel and like in different countries, but not here. So then it kind of like hit me and Eran. I think God really put that idea into our head that like we are going to create a customized design for ones that we love, but it's going to infuse the idea of wearing the kids pendants and wearing pendants in general, but with the sleek, minimal, dainty designs that I love.
Exactly.
Because I always loved dainty jewelry, and I always loved wearing jewelry that was just very minimal, and it's like it's there if you see it when it's up close, but it's like not boom right in your face.
Exactly.
So Eran and I had the idea. That was step 1. Step 2 was, making this alive.
We're like, okay, how are we gonna do this? Like, we have no idea where to go from jewelry, and like, even though all my cousins do jewelry, they do jewelry more of like
wholesale diamonds. Nothing like this.
Like very, very high end, like for celebrities or like iced out Rolex. It wasn't really what we were really into.
Exactly.
And so we already had a lot on our plate as it is. Like we had Haley gonna give birth along the way. She was, I think, like how many months were you?
6 months already.
Yeah, you're like 6 months in. We had Aaliyah. We were balancing YouTube, and I was at the time editing the video, majority of the videos, and like it was just already a lot on our plate.
I mean, let me just reiterate. I think it's so crazy that Eran and I, for some reason, just decided to take on the most when we moved here.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, let's move. Oh, let's have another baby. Oh, let's open a business.
Company, yeah.
Let's
say we keep ourselves busy. We keep it going. We're like sharks, Once a shark stops swimming, it drowns. So obviously you need to take a breather sometimes.
I don't think if a shark stops swimming, it drowns.
I think it does. I think if a shark
they live underwater. How can a shark drown?
But think about it, fish never just stand still. They're always moving.
But they can. They won't drown.
Not drown, but they'll
I
like flip it.
I have to look in that log.
I don't know if they'll drive, but they'll just die. I don't know.
Well, let me just say this, that we had the idea, we had the concept, but we're like, where do we go from here? How do we get started? Because Eran and I, the way that we've developed our businesses, it's not like this is our first business, but it's a very different kind of business.
Yeah.
With YouTube and with personal training, we were able to kind of like learn as we go.
We also started with minimal amount of requirement,
and minimal risk.
Exactly. So like with personal training, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a mobile personal trainer. What do I need? A car, gas. I'll go to people. Like I'll bring bands, some dumbbells. Like I'm the one doing it, so it's not like no harm, no foul. Like I don't have any expense. And then as the clients started to grow, I started to expand.
Develop, you start to grow. I started to
invest more in my equipment. So as the business grew, the more I invested and the more I got back from it. And same thing with Haley. Haley started off with a camera from what?
Like a little digital Canon camera, and like over time I just, invested more as I saw it grow. This was very different because I knew that upfront we would have to put a lot more into it, but this is kind of how it started. I have to give a shout out to our management team, Brain & Co. The way that we found them is that I actually had one of my friends, Yes Coffee No Decaf, on Instagram. She came out with some merch and I absolutely loved the marketing and the designs that she had. I reached out to her asking like, yo, did you do this or like whatever? She told me about her marketing team. So I reached out to them. The crazy part is that they're actually this couple from Toronto and we have a bunch of mutual friends. So it was like literally such a small world. So we reached out to them and we told them, like, let's have a meeting. We sat down for that meeting. We told them our idea. Off the bat, they loved the concept,
Yeah.
which I knew that I wanted to have a team that really believed in the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it would be so hard for you to come out with something, but like only you as a creator think that it's a good idea. They really liked it, but again, we had no designs, we had nothing. Like literally started from zero.
We
We're
just
like,
had like the idea.
the
Like, okay, well,
concept.
it's like, where do we go from here? Because we don't have the time nor the patience to try to do this and try to get a design and do all these things, because unfortunately we started to open up a new business venture like
pretty late.
pretty late in the game, like already having 2 kids, and like
We would have had a lot more
our
free time
work
to do
now.
this
Yeah,
a couple
exactly.
of years ago. So let me tell you how we went about it. Basically, like obviously with Brand & Co, they have a bunch of services. One of them was that they would be able to reach out to people to actually find manufacturers. So they gathered a couple people for us, which was honestly probably the hardest part. You want to be able to get a good manufacturer, someone that will give you quality at the same time, not at a ridiculous price. And Eran and I were very set on having manufacturers in North America.
Yeah.
We did not want to do this in China. We did not want to do it overseas. Number one, just for the sole fact that like we
It
just
also
wanted
takes
to.
a long time for
It takes a long time.
So unless you're gonna buy a very, very high quantity, so you can have it for months on end, it's gonna take some time for it to come overseas.
Exactly. But in general, we just wanted to also keep it local. We wanted to keep the business here. We wanted to just keep the money
Also help
flowing
support
here.
like smaller businesses like in the area. So like our manufacturer is
They're a
also
small
in
business in
They're a small
themselves.
business. Yeah, we didn't want to just go to a bigger thing. On top of it, there's also a risk in terms of like the people in China or whatever giving like the cat or whatever to other people.
Exactly.
Like I've heard stories of like literally other companies
sharing
being like,
designs.
"Oh, I know this company. I want those same designs,"
Yeah.
and they'll be like, "Okay, no problem. Just pay us a little more, and we'll give you the exact same one."
So this is kind of how it goes. If you guys are interested in starting your own jewelry company, obviously you can go ahead and sketch the idea yourself. We don't have any drawing skills at all.
No.
We went to Fiverr. Fiverr is like one of those online like workplace apps that you can literally hire somebody to do anything. So we hired somebody who was known to be able to create jewelry, and we told her our ideas and we had a few revisions, and she sketched the initial design for us. Once we had the design on paper, we took it to our manufacturer, and there he was actually able to create a CAD. A CAD is kind of like a 3D digital version of the actual piece and the exact measurements and everything that allows you to create the mold to create the jewelry. So he was actually able to create the designs for us, and I'll tell you guys this. It is not a cheap process, even before
Not at
getting
all.
started. Like before you're actually ready to even have anything, you have to pay for the initial designs. You have to pay to get the CAD made. You have to pay for samples. And samples are so expensive because the way that it works with jewelry is that when you purchase like one piece of something versus a lot, it's a lot more expensive because the way that they actually make jewelry, it's called a tree, where it's pretty much like the pendants are made on a tree that they create the mold on. So creating one is a lot more expensive for them to do. So we paid, I think it was like $120 for one pendant sample, and we needed to do that for all the pendants.
Just that thing.
Yeah.
Just that one pendant.
And we needed to do that for all the pendants in all the colors. So silver, 2 of the silver, 2 of the gold, 2 of the... It was just a lot. So Eran and I just decided that initially we were only going to do the kids, but then Eran had the idea to introduce a third pendant.
Yeah, because I wanted to make sure that like the people that don't have kids necessarily, that also like supported the channel, or we just didn't want it to just be like, oh, for moms. We
Yeah.
want it to be just for like why not, so women's line. So
Right.
anybody that wanted to wear, either to give it to a loved one or whatever. And I especially like,
Yeah.
we didn't want the reaction of like your fans also to be like, hey, I don't have any kids yet, nor am I thinking to have kids in the next few
Honestly,
years.
it was a really good idea.
Yeah.
And he came out with the idea, and I thought of the heart because I always wanted like those little tiny bubbly hearts. Like I've seen slight ideas of it, but never one that I really loved. So I really wanted to create
I
that
just feel
design.
like people that made the hard idea, they just like overdid it.
Yeah.
Either it was like stretched out, or
Or,
it was
like, too chunky.
chunky, or it was like bedazzled. I'm just like, where's just like a simple,
Classy,
classy,
cute.
chunky, bubbly heart, like
chunky, but like dainty chunky.
very dainty,
you
not
know?
like in your face.
So that's something that we had an idea with the designs. We really wanted to make them like chubby little dainty kids, kind of like balloon animal style.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it because I feel like other designs that I've seen, the kids look like super long and skinny. And again, the whole point is that I wanted to make this very dainty. That's what I absolutely love about the designs that ended up coming out. But it may seem easy. We've had so many back and forth trials. We've had maybe like 3 or 4 different samples come to us by the time we actually decided on one that we loved. And in terms of materials, so And kick off the whole conversation with materials. What did we say from the beginning we're not
So
going to do?
so originally we were like, okay, we're going to do what our ideal plan was that we want to be able to advertise and say you can wear this forever, never have to take it off. So
We
we're like,
wanted to do solid
let's do
gold.
solid gold. But then when we got to how much samples cost,
Not even samples.
and then
How
we're
much
just
it would
like, how
cost
much
for
it would cost
people.
to sell it? It would cost like $400 just
Five,
for
6,
for
even.
yeah, just to sell a pendant and a chain.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, there is no way in hell that anyone's gonna buy that. I personally would not even pay that much for it.
So I'll tell you what, I'm very much somebody who believes in quality. I love the fact that solid gold, you can wear it for the rest of your life and it's never going to tarnish and everything. But the thing is that it's just not realistic, especially now. Just the price of gold itself got so expensive.
Yeah.
And I knew that there's so many people that want to support, would love the idea, but like not everybody can drop like $400, $500, $600 on a necklace, you know? Especially if over time you want to build more kids and add more
Of course,
kids to
like
it, right?
you're gonna be wearing like over $1,000 over your neck. Like,
Exactly. So I genuinely just thought that we need to look into the next best thing. Something that I personally always loved was gold vermeil. I had so many different pieces from different brands that were gold vermeil. They lasted me like 4 or 5 years without tarnishing. They looked amazing and they look like solid gold. So the way that it is, it was actually sterling silver, which is the highest possible kind of silver that you can get. And then it was coated with a thick layer of gold. So the way that it works with gold vermeil is that you can get them in different carats. There's 10 carat, 14 carat, 18 carat, and 24 carat. Eran didn't really understand the difference between them.
even though my dad's a jeweler,
Yes.
I have no idea. I guess I didn't want to take the chance to even get to understand because I didn't want to be in the industry. So
Exactly,
I had
even
no
though
idea
you are
what was
now.
going. Yeah, now I
So
have
the
no
way that it
choice.
works is that pure solid gold is 24 carats. If you want to have that real authentic gold color, you would get 24 carats, but that's so expensive because it's literally pure gold.
On top of that, like I originally thought like when it was like more of a lighter gold, that was like solid gold. I didn't know there was
No.
a difference, but now I understand that like when it's a little bit more yellow, that's pure gold.
Exactly. So all the jewelry that we've been seeing, and the jewelry that most people are used to seeing now, is 10 carat and 14 carat, which honestly, those are like a very, very, very low amount of actual gold in there. They're mixed in with different alloys. That's why we decided that we weren't going to go with that. So instead, we just decided to do the 24 carat 925 sterling silver. So we already knew that solid gold was kind of out of the picture because it would be so expensive for you guys. And the next like lowest level I would say is gold plated. And gold plated jewelry, let me just say, pet peeve. Hate it, hate it, hate it so much because it's one of those jewelry that you can wear just like by wearing it for a couple of weeks, even a couple of months, it starts to turn green.
Yeah.
It makes everything like turn black. It oxidizes because it has a bunch of copper in it because it's basically a very thin layer of gold on brass. And brass based pieces is not something that I like. So when Eran and I did our research, we really decided that the best middle ground that can give us a long lasting wear, but
The base of it was
but
much better.
But the base of it was better. Plus, it's a lot more affordable. Was gold vermeil, and gold vermeil. I've had so many gold vermeil pieces that I've had for like 4 or 5 years, like all my necklaces, and they've lasted me so long. And like we said, the base is sterling silver. It's 925 sterling silver, which is pure silver.
Yeah, and that's the thing. In order for it to be considered gold vermeil, it has to be a 925 sterling silver.
Yes, and on top of that, it has to have a certain thickness of gold on top. So our jewelry actually has 3 to 3.5 microns of gold on top, which on average it's 2.5. So ours is even better than the average.
Has a thicker layer.
Exactly. So our jewelry is going to last you a very long time. Like let's just say you're somebody who wants to wear it and forget it, kind of like I've been doing. You shouldn't technically, but I've been wearing it for a couple of months and there's no tarnishing at all. That being said, we still recommend that you don't wear it in the shower, you don't wear it when you go to the beach, anywhere where there's possible like chemicals that can make the gold kind of wear off for a while. But the crazy thing is that because it's a sterling silver base, it's never going to get gross. All will happen is that the gold may lighten over for a few years, but the quality of the jewelry itself is always going to be great.
And on top of that, with our manufacturer, they put like a coating over the sterling silver.
Yeah, like a stain resistant coating so it won't stain either.
Yeah. So if anything, if God forbid, like for some reason, if something were to happen to the golden gem, let's say somebody like scraped it off or like was intentionally trying to rip it out, right under, because it's sterling silver, you have a very good high quality metal under, as opposed to just having a little
So
bit
it's
of
not
gold
going to
outside.
rust,
And that's
it's not
it.
going to corrode, it's not going to do any of that. So
Exactly.
we kind of found the perfect middle ground to deliver a really good quality piece of jewelry that you can wear and forget about. except for when you go to those places where you may want to take
Yeah.
off.
On top of that, if we're gonna be advertising the kids pens that you can add over the years when
Yeah.
you have kids,
We needed
it wouldn't
something.
make sense to make something that after a few months it just tarnishes and it's not good because it defeats the whole purpose of
Yeah,
the
because
brand.
the whole point is that we want you to be able to build on your necklace, which kind of leads me into our whole branding of it all. So Brand and Co obviously helped us with this. Sometimes they say 4 heads are better than 2. And we came up with the whole slogan as wear your story. And the reason that we decided to do that is because I think a reason why this brand idea was so meaningful to me is because I've shared my stories and Elan's stories with you guys, with us just taking so long in our dating experience and getting married, and like by the time we actually got pregnant with Aaliyah, it was like almost 2 years of trying, and like after getting pregnant with Naomi, it's been literally such a roller coaster of events. And I just love that when I wear this necklace with the 2 girls on my neck, it's just like a representation of everything, like the family that we grew, you know? And like we said, even if you just wear the heart, like to represent your best friend or your spouse, like we just wanted to give people a way that they can wear the stories of their family, of their friends, of their loved ones.
Even wearing the heart for yourself, like showing like self-love, like if you're trying to like learn how to, you know, be more confident with yourself or like love yourself a bit more, like that heart could just even be a
It can
representation
represent
for
that
yourself.
too. Exactly. So we really like believe that this brand is something beautiful and something meaningful rather than just being materialistic. We didn't want to make something materialistic. So Eran and I just really wanted to share with this with you guys in hopes that you will find the beauty in it as well. And let's just say we've put a lot into it.
Yeah, I think we've put. I don't know. Can we? You can say the number. Yeah.
Should we
Nah,
say how much? Should we
We,
say?
we can say because again, we also like. It wasn't that we paid in a one shot. It was like over time. And initially, when we got the amount.
Wait, I think, okay, guys, wow, we're really going to do this. We're going to tell you how much we put into this business.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
I'm
think
a
we
little
put
nervous.
like what, like 50K.
I think we put like 50,000 at this point.
50,000 is business.
I know, it's
but like we
crazy.
didn't do it like right. It was like.
The
Okay,
development, the materials,
the materials, the samples, the website, the design, the graphics, the CAD, like everything adds up. So it wasn't like 50,000 in one shot.
Oh wait, well we also pre-ordered a lot.
We also
of things.
pre-ordered
like
a
all
lot
of that is a lot
beforehand.
of the chains and necklaces that
because
we will
our
be selling.
our main point was that we were so focused on trying to get this for Mother's Day, and that was our goal from the beginning when we launched. Like we want to have it available for Mother's Day. That's like the best time to advertise it.
But I think that's actually a good segue into telling them maybe a couple things that we wish we did differently already.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you guys what, we were kind of like mixed into the whole hype of the whole Mother's Day aspect of it all, thinking that's going to be our main campaign for everything. And I feel like because we gave ourselves that timeline,
It rushed us.
It rushed us
A lot.
It rushed us with a lot of decisions that we made. Nothing to do with quality. Like the quality of the piece that you'd be getting if you get this is spectacular. Like we put the most time and effort into that, and I'm so happy with it. But I think when it came to some of the branding, maybe some of the website, like there's certain aspects of things that I just wish we put more thought into.
Yeah, we're
But-
just so focused on like, all right, we have this much time, we need to get it out because at the same time, like we didn't have our whole time dedicated to this. Like we had YouTube and we had our kids and then we had like stuff from our Jewish thing and our personal life.
Oh, perfect example. So the photo shoot. We needed to do a photo shoot. So we ended up booking one in downtown in Toronto that I couldn't even go to because I didn't have my green card yet. And like I said, we were on a clock. And let's say that photo shoot, like I didn't get from it what I expected, which was honestly such a letdown because like it cost us a lot of money.
Yeah.
And we paid for a studio that we didn't even like use the full studio to its extent. And on top of that, it's like I feel like we could have done better research with like who we took as well. Let's just say like we could have just done a lot of things better if we had more time.
I mean, listen, at one point we didn't know when you were going to get your green card.
Exactly.
We didn't know when we were going to go. And like that was a delay. And the funniest part is we got the approval.
Like 2 weeks later.
Like, not even. Baby, we got the approval like.
Oh, a couple of days later.
Like a couple days later.
Yeah,
and we're like, damn, if we don't know. But again, we didn't know that.
Everything
like,
happens for a reason. Like really God does everything for good. And I'm actually glad that ended up happening because of the fact that I wasn't obsessed with the photo shoot that we had in Canada. I decided to do another one here with the family, which is how we found our photographer, Abby.
Yeah.
She's incredible. And I'm just so happy that we found her. Like that in itself, babe, the fact that we found her, like we know for all future stuff, she's the person that we're going to go to, which is really something that we learned. As you grow the business, you're going to have these connections and like these decisions you're going to make. And some, they're not always going to pan out. And some of them are going to end up being like great. And some mistakes are going to lead you to better successes that you wouldn't have reached if you didn't make those mistakes.
Yeah. Usually when you start a business off the bat, like you're gonna learn from it. You won't be successful like right off the bat. The samples won't be amazing right off the bat. Like it's gonna take some trial and error, and especially when you're starting a business. In this case, it gonna take some investing. Like if there is a very high reward, there's going to be very high risk and a lot of work that goes into it. And I think in the end of the day, like we're still learning. We've learned lots from the day one till now. It's still nerve wracking. It's a lot of pressure, but you know, it's exciting at the same time. But yeah, it's a really big learning experience.
I mean, listen, I love everything behind the concept, the branding, the product. Like those are the three things that you want to be amazing, and I love it. Even the name, like Haylo, it's amazing. Yeah. But I think we do want to share with you guys some things that we wish we did a little bit differently. Yeah. So let's talk about our launch.
Before we even change Haylo, like how do you even know the name?
So as Evan mentioned, we wanted to do the HALO, but obviously so many companies have taken that name already that we needed to change it. So because my name has a Y in it, we decided maybe we should spell it HAYLO. And then Eran, this genius marketing brain over here, was like, the Y can be like representing you in your story. So I think that little input just makes it so amazing and so personal because like we said, this jewelry doesn't mean much until you apply your own meaning to it. Yeah. You know?
Like you are the one that's bringing meaning to the piece. Like you're telling your story. You guys over the years have seen our story and let us express like how we are and like been through our journey. Yeah. Now it's time for us to give you guys the opportunity to be able to tell your story.
Yeah, and I love it because I mean I would just love if somebody at some point we're gonna come out with like different pendants as well to represent different things, for someone to have like a collection of everything that's important to them and everything that's valuable to them, and to be able to explain like why you're wearing this on your neck. Like that would be ideal. And I just see that in the future as like something so big and so amazing, and we are so excited for it. And that being said, I think we should finally tell them about our launch and like how it went. Yes. It was so nerve-wracking. That day in general was crazy.
Yeah,
like
a lot of last minute changes, back and forth meetings. Like I think a month leading up to the launch has been like meetings every like day or every other day, and then we had Jewish holidays in between, and plus we have videos that we're doing and meeting deadlines for other companies, and it was very, very nerve-wracking. At some point, Aaliyah like wasn't feeling well, so she was home for a week. So that set everything us back a little bit. Yeah. So and then we're trying to make it for the deadline for Mother's Day. It was a lot of stuff going on.
So what we decided to launch with is say that we're gonna have a promo to have free shipping, so that you're guaranteed delivery by Mother's Day, which was so great and so exciting. So the clock is winding down, and we hit live at 9 p.m. And we do see a couple sales trickling in right in the beginning, and it was so exciting. I remember being like, "Oh my god, one sale! Oh my god, 2, 3, 4, 5!" Like it was just going so fast. And I feel like initially we had this like pickup where a lot of people were so excited on getting it, and over time we've still been getting sales. We already have some products that we have to send out, but I do feel like when we were looking at the analytics of it all, I was like, wait. We had like 1,000 people come to the website.
Like in 24
and
hours.
And only a percentage of them.
12 hours, we had over 1,000 people. Like only a certain percentage got it.
Yeah. So we're like, what's the reason?
It just didn't make sense because the amount of people that messaged us and DM and commented and followed the page that were like, we can't wait to get this. We can't get this. Can't wait to gift this. Like, we love the branding. We love the meaning. We love the design. Like, everything is great. So we're like, okay, perfect. Like, they like it. Like, it's one thing if they didn't like it. Oh, it's not for me or whatever.
No, so many people loved it. People told me, like, I want to get this for my mom.
People that we even knew came out, like, well, we can't wait to get, like, it's so great. And I think what ended up happening was that we ended up seeing, like, we made good amount of sales, but not enough to sell out or anything. Yeah. And when we saw, we're like, why is the analytics not matching up? Like, why is it only this many people came to see it, but this many people only executed? Yeah. And then
so I needed to get to the bottom of it, and I was just like, okay, I have a feeling, like Anna and I have a feeling that we knew what it was, but I took to Instagram and I asked my followers to tell me, like, okay, guys, like, if you are someone who came to our website, like, you clearly love the design and everything, like, what is it that made you hesitate? And I want to say that, like, 85% of people told us that the reason that they hesitated was the price. Yes. And to tell you guys now, we originally listed our gold necklace, any of them, for $160 American, and then each individual pendant was $85. And for the silver, it was the same, just $20 less. So it was $140 and it was $75. So I'll tell you guys now, we came to those prices. We didn't just like pick out numbers from the sky. We literally came to those prices because we're like, okay, listen, we're delivering something of quality, and the value of gold is the value of gold. Gold is expensive, and we're doing 24 karat gold on sterling silver. It's literally the purest form of gold that you can get. So we kind of like justified that for us. And you know what? A lot of the people in my DMs told me, I'm obsessed with the designs. I want this so much. I totally get why you priced it at what you priced it because of the quality, but I just can't afford to get
can't
that.
afford it. It's like a little bit out of my budget or something like that. That was making them hesitant, was the price. And that's the thing. We were trying to figure out after this launch, and like this is when we have like meetings with our marketing team, and like originally we were thinking like maybe we should make it lower, but they're like, no, this is for the causes what competitors are doing and everything.
But it's true. We did do our research. That is what competitors were doing.
But we were thinking afterwards, like, dang, like how does it make sense that we made a product for the people, by the people, and then the people on one end doesn't make it accessible for everybody else? So we were trying to figure out the fine line of like, are we going to be a luxury brand, or are we going to be something that will have people have better access to?
Yes. And I think that was the biggest mistake. We launched this brand treating it like a luxury brand when that was never my intention. I wanted this to be something that like everybody can get their hands on, or the majority of people who wanted to can get their hands on. So Ehan and I were talking to our brand manager back and forth, and we were trying to see like, okay, first I actually asked budgets in terms of what people, I wanted to give people what they wanted, you know? And I just literally saw that people were willing to spend a certain amount, maybe not 160, but like in the $100 range, $120 range. And at that point, we're like, okay, team, is there any way that we can make this work? Is there any way that we can cut the costs? Is there any way that we can kind of like make it so that we're not losing?
Yeah, like we'll like, listen, we can cut down on something if like
I'm okay to cut down on our profits.
Even profit wise, like we'll cut down on the profits. Like, you know, we don't need to make like crazy numbers. Like we just want to make sure that we're making a little above profit, because at that point, if we don't make any profit,
you can't reinvest into
if we're selling, if we're buying each thing for, let's say an example, you're buying each one for like $100 and we're selling it for 80, we're losing money. And it's not just the pendant, it's the marketing, it's ads,
it's the shipping,
it's
the packaging,
it's the packaging, it's the back and forth with our team.
It's like the time also.
The time, like a lot of things go into it, and that's why it's very, very like, who needs like how we can't please everybody, but at the same time, we're like, we need to find out where we can trickle it down, that we can get this in people's hands,
that we can still reinvest into the business with, because the way that it works with businesses, especially with merchandise, initially you put up the money up front. So you put up like however much you want to invest in the product. Once you sell your product, the profit that you make from there, it doesn't go directly into your pocket.
No,
you take all that profit and you put it back to get more product. And hopefully as you do this over time, it will funnel more money. That's the whole point. And I feel like we were at a point where we're like, we need to bring this down to the point that we'll have enough that we can order more product and like still make everybody happy with the price. And on top of
that, like we were also in a point where like we sold our house, but we didn't sell the house because of the company. Like thank God, like God, Hashem gave us like this, the sign, like I spoke to my rabbi, and like through the rabbi, like God gave it through the rabbi to us to like tell us to sell the house, because at some point when we're having to have certain things to pay for, if we didn't sell the house, we would not know where we would get these funds from.
We'd either have to ask for a loan, or we would have quit altogether.
Exactly. We just let it go. So thank God we sold the house, because we were dipping into the money for that to have these investments. Because again, we didn't invest over 50,000 right off the bat. It was like every month it was, okay, you have to do this, you have to do that, whatever. And then the biggest cost was obviously getting the inventory beforehand.
I feel like that was the biggest expense. Just so you guys know, you don't need 50K to start a business. The only reason as to why we decided to make the jump on the investment is because, like I said, the more you order, the cheaper each piece ends up being. For us to order or to wait and only order like a few pieces based on how many sales we got, number one, it would take a lot longer for it to arrive. And number two, we just would be paying so much for those individual pieces. And because we so badly wanted to get everything early for Mother's Day, we made the order before we even launched the website. So we do have some inventory sitting. We actually sold a bunch, but we do want to be able to sell out the rest before we go on and move on into the next order. So that being said, Ehan and I broke our heads about it. We started thinking so many conversations late into the night. Like, what can we do?
2 a.m, like every time we had like some time to just like talk. In general, it was just about that.
At some point, I was just like, babe.
It just didn't sit with us. I'm just like, it just doesn't sit with me that like we're doing this. It's not us. Like we wouldn't. How can
we're not a luxury brand.
We're not a luxury brand. Like not even that. It's like, how are you gonna come up with the first product and like people not have access to it. It's
Exactly.
like it's like in a way we kind of feel like we like let our fans down.
I know. And I was like beating on myself over about it also. And I think, again, if we just would have waited and not rushed, then I think we would have come to this conclusion before we launched.
Yeah.
But listen, we're not here to show you the picture perfect side of things. We want to tell you that sometimes we make mistakes, and everybody makes mistakes.
That's how you learn. Like,
and listen, the fact that there are some people that bought this at full price, like, I respect that so much.
listen,
Maybe they have the
people
passive
that
income.
the people that bought it at full price. First of all,
Thank you.
thank you, and second of all, they guaranteed it that they had it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we do have some in stock, but like they secured their spot. So the fact that they saw value and they paid it, like, that is great.
It means a lot. It
but
really,
for
really
the
does.
rest of the people that they wanted to get it, but like there was a story, like one girl like DM'd you and she was like, I was so excited to get it finally. I wanted to
get it for my mom. And she's like, then I saw that a necklace was 160. And then she's like, then I wanted to add a pendant for my sister. And I saw that that was another 85. She's like, I just don't have that kind of money. And like, I would love this gift for my mom.
Yeah.
So that like kind of broke my heart. And I was like, I don't want that. I don't want it to be something that like is hard. And again, we can
It's
only,
hard for
we can
people to
only
attain it.
bring down our costs so much. But I feel like we've just been running around the bush. Basically, what Ellen and I have decided to do is we've decided to apply a 25% off discount site-wide. And we don't know how long we're going to make this last for, at least until we sell out, probably.
Yeah, but I have a
some more
feeling that we're
stock.
going to like
Reduce,
recoup
yeah.
and then we're going to try to keep it at that price range with the same quality. We're going to find out where we can cut down on something that we can keep the price around that, because in the end of the day, like, we want to keep
the materials and stuff is not going to change.
No, the materials not going to change. Is like maybe certain things might change, whether where we get packaging from or shipping wise or all that stuff. But at the end of the day, like, we wanted to have it accessible to you guys. You have to also have to understand on our end, like, again, this is a business.
Yeah.
In the end of the day, like, we have to treat it like a business.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we have to also be considerate and just remember from how we even got this business in the first place. Like, obviously, God has put us in a position. We're so grateful for that. But you know, you guys have been watching us for so many years, and you guys.
It's all your support and love
like,
that made us.
The fact that we
have an audience.
The fact that we had almost 2,000 follows. We have almost 2,000 followers on the Instagram page.
I know, it's
for Haylo Collection. Before we even announced what it was, that for me is like, wow, 2,000 people. Like the fact that we have like hundreds of people listening to this podcast. You know, that's already.
It makes you emotional.
It's so grateful, and like that's why it was just so hard for us to
feel like we disappointed people.
To do that and feel like, and especially after we launched it, it happened, it just broke us. Not for the fact of like, damn, why are we not selling out right away? More the fact of like, dang, so many people really wanted it and they couldn't afford it, or it was too pricey for them. And like, in a way, it kind of made us feel like we took advantage, even though that was not our intention. So first off, I want to say sorry. And second of all, we're trying to, you know, make it more accessible to you guys.
Definitely. And I think that we learned a lot from this. And listen, as much as we keep saying accessible, we know that some people may be privileged that they can afford this, and some people can't.
And on top of that, we also are going to be offering a feature where you can pay as you go. It just, apparently it does take some time for them to,
the website needs to be live for a certain amount of time to introduce Afterpay.
In order to qualify for it, yeah.
But basically, all we wanted to tell you guys is right now, if you do want to click the link down below, this is not a promo for us, for our brand. But if you are listening to this, maybe you have a little bit of interest in the brand. But we're doing 25% off site wide by the time you guys are hearing this.
So 160 will be 120.
Yeah, $160 necklace is now
May.
$120. Like we said, 24 karat gold for May. It's an incredible price for what you're getting, and we really hope that we were able to make it a little bit more accessible to some more of you. Maybe not everybody, but it's the most that we can do.
I think for sterling silver, it's gonna be like $105.
Yeah.
For each pendant thing.
For a pendant with a necklace
be,
together.
Yeah, I think just for the pendant itself, whether it be the heart or the kid's pendant.
We're gonna bring it down by like $30. Like everything.
It's gonna be significantly cheaper. Like, the price is going to drop significantly.
Yes.
And if you're going to get it in time, we're still going to be offering free shipping. We don't know, depending on maybe when you guys will get it. I think it should be, by the time we upload this, it should
maybe you'll still arrive by Mother's Day.
It should be live by the time this is uploaded. So it should be able to arrive on Mother's Day. But if not, you'll still get free shipping. It just might arrive a few days after.
Exactly. But honestly, this has been such a whirlwind. I can't believe that Ellen and I have gotten to this point where we can say that we have a brand outside of just social media. But we just wanted to say thank you to all of you guys, because we
Yes.
really would not be here if it wasn't for you. You guys are our Hey family. You guys are our Halos. And we really appreciate you guys so much. And we hope that you got a little bit out of this podcast in the sense of like kind of seeing how our startup happened. Obviously, there's so much more to say, but this is kind of like an introduction, I want to say. If there's anything specific you guys want to know about the ins and outs of this business and kind of how you start something for yourself, comment it down below. If you guys are listening on Apple or Spotify, we would love it if you would rate this podcast 5 stars if that's how you feel. And if you are watching up to this point, you're the real MVPs. We love the ones who stick around all the way to the end. Comment down below Haylo if you're here, because it really is the start of something amazing. And I'm so excited to see everything to come.
Yeah, and it's just the beginning with Haylo. We're not just doing jewelry. There's
Yes.
obviously going to be different
Haylo
pendants.
collections is different collections of
Yeah,
different stuff,
we
not
might
just jewelry.
we
might do fashion.
We might
still.
do some fashion.
We might do home stuff.
We might be doing some accessories, home stuff. Like, the sky's the limit. We just wanted to start off with this because this is what spoke to us.
It's a passion project of ours.
Exactly. So we really appreciate everything, and we hope that for those of you that do get whatever is left, to tag us and share it and tell your experiences.
If you are wearing it, share it, because we want to see you guys in this product.
We want to see your
It's so
stories.
cool.
Like, you always hear us blabbing our mouth and everything. Like, we want to see you guys share your stories, whether that be for the kid or for the heart pendant.
We're also introducing something called the Haylo Diaries, and it's pretty much going to be like little journal entries that you guys can enter as if you're writing an entry in a diary. And the whole point is that we want you guys to share your story of like who gifted it to you or why you bought it for yourself and what it means to you, kind of like a little diary entry. And we're calling it Haylo Diaries. I think it's going to be really cool.
And for those of you that are maybe not so interested in our gold or jewelry on your thing, just the fact that you shared and all that is already more than enough for us. So again, we're so grateful for you guys.
The ones who buy, the ones who don't, like, we love all of you. Anyone who gives us a view, a like, a comment, or even is just there giving us support, like, that's all that really matters.
Yeah. So again, like we said, it's a learning process for us. We are still learning, and we're still going to be continue to learn.
But I am proud of us, babe.
Yeah,
like,
we did a
this
great job.
was
Again,
definitely cool.
all business owners and everything, especially in this field, they're gonna make mistakes. They're gonna learn from it. I think the fact that you just own up to it and just say that, hey, listen, we messed up, we did this. It makes it a little bit easier.
Listen, we didn't mess up on the quality, and that
No, we
was
didn't
the
mess up.
number
No,
one
for
thing
sure.
for me. So we have
100%.
something that's beautiful, something that we love, and we hope that you guys love it too. Thank you guys so much for watching today's episode or listening, and we can't wait to see you, speak to you, hear you in our next one.
Peace out, guys.
Love y'all.
Love y'all.